Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today we got another Walking Dead TV show Q&A. Now, for this one, I put a post in the new Map Fan Family Facebook group, and we're pulling questions from that post. Do not freak out. We do this once in a while, not all the time. Nothing's changing. Once in a while, we will pull questions from Instagram or Twitter or YouTube or Facebook. Well, no, YouTube is pretty much consistent, but you get the idea. No freaking out, nothing's changing, relax. We always get 100 questions asking why we're changing things. I don't have a Facebook page or yada yada yada. It's just to celebrate the new group this time. So, here we go with the questions. Now, I will have to say though, I'm trying my best not to answer the same person 500 times. I just recorded one and it was like 40 minutes long, and I looked back, and I'm not even lying, I think I only answered the same six or seven people with 5 to 6 to 10 different questions of each person. You get what I'm saying? One person asked 10 questions, and I ended up saying the same names over and over again. So hopefully I can weed them out as we go along. Let's get right into this. Tyler Riggs, and it's not that I don't appreciate you participating. I just think it's fair if I answer 40 questions from 40 individuals instead of 40 questions from the same 10 people. You know what I mean? I just think that's fair. Anyway, Tyler Riggs, and if I pronounce your last name wrong, it's because I suck at it. Do you think Maggie will blame Daryl? If I had to pick her yes or no, I'd have to say no. There might be a little part of her that does, but I think a lot of them are to blame, to be honest. Rob Byrne, do you think Carl will make it to the Sanctuary? For those who do not know, the Sanctuary is Negan's headquarters, Negan and the Saviors. And at this moment, no. I just feel like they're not going to go in that direction. They could, though. They definitely could. Danis Januska, which death was more brutal / emotional for you? Probably Glenn. Harry Wiseman. Hey Ronnie, do you think the double death was a good idea because most people feel like the death of Glenn overshadowed Abe's death, thus rendering him a waste of character? I don't think Abe's a waste of character. I don't think that's it. I will say, though, that 40% of me understands what they did. 40% of me gets it, and I agree with it, and I see it as like a bittersweet. If you look back at Glenn and Abraham back in the end of Season 4, then what they did in Season 5, going to Washington, arguing in church, everything with how they're connected, and then in Season 6, if you add everything together, it is bitter and sweet, and then also those who love those two characters, like Sasha and Maggie, for example. Tara, she's going to play a pivotal role, I feel like, because of her losses when she comes back. I mean, shit. She lost the woman she just fell in love with, and then Glenn, she was close to Glenn. I mean, that shit is going to hurt. Glenn's the one who saved her life. Where would Tara be right now? So I get what they did overall, 40% of me. But then there's still that 60%, just a little bit more, that feels like this is the second time they underutilized Abraham's character. And if they truly did plan it for 2 years, why did we get some bullshit philosophical struggling for the RPG scene with Abraham instead of something different? Go out with a bang. I feel like Glenn went out with a bang. Everyone's still asking, why did they give him a fake death? That was to give the actor some notoriety, some spotlight before they took him out of the show. At least I strongly feel that way. And I feel like this is the second time they did it with Abraham. We could have gotten just a little bit more, something different. I can't even put my finger on it, but just a little bit more. Maybe all-out war, but hey, what are you going to do? Let's move on. Jacob Hubbard. If Daryl is the one who stood up and he punched Negan after killing Abraham, why did Negan kill Glenn instead of Daryl? Do you think it has something to do with the fact that Negan gets off on people standing up to him? It could be a combination of a number of things, but I think at the very least, killing Daryl right then and there would be too easy. Negan's going to torment the shit out of him. At the very least, keep in mind, he has other plans as well. Cameron Jobson. What are your thoughts on the reports and complaints that the premiere went too far graphically? Listen, I'm hearing this more and more, and I was even half tempted to do a full video on it, but I can't. I just can't. I would sound like the biggest asshole in the world. I feel like if you turned on The Walking Dead, and in the first 10 minutes you witnessed the lead character shoot a little girl in the face, even though if it's a zombie, I feel if you're not smart enough to understand what that means, what is coming after that, if that isn't going to be in your wheelhouse, I think you're an idiot. to put it as nice as I can, you're a moron. And then to get to season, 5? And have Noah's face ripped apart. Oh, man. And you made it through that to season 7. I'm at a loss for words at your stupidity. Yeah, I don't want to get into that because I'm sure there's some people watching right now that had a problem with the violence and gore, and they're going to give me some shit about, some pompous shit about how, oh, you can write better story without being graphic. Since when does something that's graphic and brutal being seen on TV mean it's not good writing? And I do truly feel like there's some excellent writing where it cuts away from the violence and it seems so deep and disgusting, but you don't actually see it. I think there's clever times that TV does that, but it doesn't mean that every time they don't do it, it's not clever. So don't feed me that bullshit also. Moving on. Candy Russell. After Daryl punched Negan, Negan said, I'm going to take him. He's got more guts than someone else I know. Who was he talking about? Immediately, I thought he was talking about Dwight. I mean, that might be the comic fan in me. It doesn't make sense if it's Rick, because Rick attacked Negan in the van. Remember, he said, grab the damn axe. Rick has guts. He showed Negan he has guts. And I feel like part of Rick having too much guts is why Negan took Rick, because Rick was giving him that same damn look, you know? I don't get it. If the writers meant it to be Rick, I don't get it. I would have to relook at that scene, but I think he was talking to Dwight, unless there was someone else there, like Eugene or something. No, that wouldn't. I'm going with Dwight. Let me know if you guys think something different. Cynthia Valentine. I think it's Valentine. There's no E at the end of your name. That messed me up a little bit, but I'm thinking it's Valentine. People are either loving or hating Chandler's acting. What do you think? Do you think he has the acting chops to someday take his father's leadership position if we make it that far? No. Right now, no. Listen, Chandler Riggs, he has some serious potential, and I strongly feel that way. In a number of scenes, you see the potential shine through. The one simple scene where he pulls the gun out on Ron, he killed that scene. He killed it. But there's times where you see it slipping and you see, here's a kid who's pretending to act mean instead of being mean. And I feel like it's difficult to explain, but when you're acting, you don't act like you're sad. You become sad. It sounds so dumb, I know, but you don't act like you're mad. You become mad. Like, you're not actually mad, but there's something that happens on the inside, you know, but you become that. And I feel like Chandler is, as an actor, he is at a spot where there's times where he does embrace that and he does become that. And then there's the off days, the off times where he's somebody who's pretending to be mad, pretending to be sad. And I know before you say, but he's an actor, he's supposed to pretend to be. No, amateurs pretend to be mad. Amateurs pretend to be sad. But the professionals who, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Andrew Lincoln and all these others, they're enraged in that moment. It's just something different. But I feel like he has potential, but right now, I don't know if he's dragging his feet because of his success, because it's easy to sit there and say, I haven't made. I don't need to craft my skills anymore. I don't need to refine my skills. But a life lesson, yes, you do. Bruce Lee, he could kick some serious ass. Right up until the moment he died, he was still practicing, training, refining his skills to get better. Lots of people do it. Lots of adults do it. Lots of professionals do it. Lots of people with some serious talent are forever crafting their skill, you know what I mean? So never give up, and I do believe he has the potential to do some really amazing things and bring Comic Carl to the big screen, so don't let us down, you bastard. Donta Keys. Do you think Maggie should take more of the blame because the Hilltop, last season she said they'll kill for Negan without looking into it? Yeah, you know what? All of them have blood on their hands. A lot of them, even if you look at when they went into the RV, they forced Rick to go onto that RV. Aaron did. Abraham did. Abraham was like, no, we're coming on. Sasha. Like, all of them did it because this is a family. They make decisions together. Even though Rick is the one to say certain things and Maggie's the one to make the deal, Daryl was there in the room being like, I tell you what, you give us half your shit, we'll take the dude out. I forget exactly what he said, but a lot of them have blood on their hands because of this, because of the decisions they made. And the ones who didn't pipe up, Morgan piped up. I mean, and you know, we all shit on him, but we have to give him credit. He sat there in the church and he stood strong with, you know, should we take this road? So I think a lot of people are to blame, absolutely. Tyler Burt, will the people of Alexandria question Rick's leadership after what just happened? Will Spencer try to overthrow him? I don't think Spencer's going to try to overthrow him. I think Spencer's the only one who's going to give Rick some serious friction. And that's all I'll say about that. But when it comes to the Alexandrians, none of them could do it any better. So I don't think any of them are going to pipe up. Some of them might be disgruntled. Some of them might be scared and worried. Sure, that's normal. But I don't think any of them could do any better, you know? Fraud Frigo. Negan was a lot more evil in the TV show than his first appearance in the comic. Do you think they're going to keep doing this for the rest of the season? What do you think? I think it's the way you read in the comic. Yeah, it's easier to look at Negan in the comic and seeing him smile and go like this, but there's plenty of times where he has this sinister look. Go back and reread it right now. You will see Negan laughing and going, oh, I da-da-da-da, and then you'll see him looking down like, listen, that shit is done. You work for me now. Comics, it's very different to misinterpret that like a TV show. When Negan's in the TV show and he's like, get my axe, and he has the mean Negan look on his face, oh yeah, he looks mean and evil like a motherfucker. But in the comic, he has just this stern look on, and then you look at his smile panel, and you might not read too much into the stern look. But I think Negan from the TV show and Negan in the comic are really similar as far as how they're being portrayed, you know? For the moment, they are. Chris Topper. What was the point of killing two main characters? Part of me feels like the point was simply to make Glenn's death more shocking because of the way they set it up. And I do feel like in this day and age where we are filming reactions, I feel like the anticipation of watching fan reactions seeps into the writer's room at times, and I feel like this is a perfect example where they were in the writer's room and they were like, oh, at this moment, after Daryl punches him, you know, all the fans are going to be like, oh, Glenn made it, and then he's going to say, back to it, and he turns around. It was written and filmed and executed perfectly to be a complete surprise to as many of them as possible. Now, if the spoiler didn't leak, that probably would have been a massive surprise, which I am so damn curious. That's why I hate spoilers, man. I'm so curious to see what would have happened or what would have been the fan reaction, because there would have been a lot more fans being like, oh, boom, you know? But hey, whatever. Yeah, with the two character thing, I think it simply comes down to what's more shocking than killing one character, killing two. I think it's just shit like that. When it comes to killing these two characters, though, the writers, fortunately for us, they like to look at how it moves the story, and they like to build off of that. So it's not going to be a complete waste, and it is going to play a serious part in the story overall, because they do look at that in the writer's room as far as how the characters are affected. Harry Truscott. Yeah, let's rock with that. That sounds right. Has your opinion on the double death changed now that you have seen it play out? You know what? My opinion has changed somewhat. We will discuss the death. I want to analyze it a little bit more, and I want to view it all the way through. Just sit back without any thoughts or looking for any different Easter eggs or symbolism. I just want to sit back and review it. But I will tell you, for a majority of the double death stuff, everyone who was coming to me saying it on this channel, we got a lot of people saying that the double death was going to be from the gun that Negan had or a knife. I don't know where the hell that came from, but a lot of people were saying that. They were saying, oh, it's double death and it's going to be a gun or knife. And I heard a lot of people saying it's going to be Glenn getting it because it has Lucille on it and it'll be like, well, yada, yada, yada. And I even stood by that being one of the worst ideas I've ever heard, because if you kill Glenn in that moment and not give him the comic death, you fail as a living human being. you fire yourself. But yeah, so the way it was pitched to me as a double death was extremely different. Once I seen it, how it played out, that was 10 times better than anything that was pitched to me in the comments section that I personally saw. So I will say my opinion did change, because it wasn't a knife, it wasn't a gun, it wasn't as dumb or stupid as, because there was some comments where, oh, it was a Royal Rumble, and I just couldn't process that because of the threat, you know what I mean? It just didn't make any sense. But it has changed somewhat, and we will have another discussion on exactly how has that changed, you know? subscribe now.